May not know, KPMG produces a comparative alternative study, usually every 2 years. And in that study, it compares cities in North America. Saskatoon is ranked as the second most competitive city in North America for food processing.
然后这一张图主要是讲了一下这个萨省的投资环境，然后 KPMG 每2年就会帮这个萨省做这个投资环境做一次评估，然后相对于其他城市来说，萨斯卡通是 number 2，right？萨斯卡通在所有加拿大的所有城市中排行第2名，就是对于这个有竞争力的投资环境来说。
It's also U.S. cities. It's between North
整
America.
个北美的这种城市当中。
Yeah. And, the Saskatchewan government is very focused on making the province competitive in terms of for business. And as you may know, they have eliminated the corporate capital tax and lowered the corporate income tax.
然后作为萨省政府来说，他们就是非常鼓励这个在萨省投资以及创业的这些举措。然后他们的那个给大家提供的就是，比如说消除了一般的企业资本税，或者说是下调了一些企业的所得税，这一系列的举措来帮助大家。
And also, Saskatchewan has a AAA rating for debt. This is from, I think, 2014, so it may change a little bit in Alberta and Saskatchewan, but, Saskatchewan does have a very good, stable economy for investment.
然后萨省的话被那个信用评估机构评为3个 A， 就是在那个就是这个政府的这个debt 上面就是评价很高的。然后像这张图表就显示了2014年萨省跟萨省的这个就是这个信用评估的记录。然后就是说就是现在已经2016年了嘛，这个可能会有变化，但是他认为跟那个阿尔伯塔省呈乐观态度。
等一等，我这儿有个问题，刚才前一个可能就是这个，他提到了对于这个农产品深加工这些企业，是不是政府有一些税收上面的优惠或者是折扣，让他说的细一点。
Do you have any more details towards the tax credits?
Oh, I have all the information you need.
他有这方面的太详细的资料，如果现在说的话可能会 so it will take more time.
Yeah. Pardon?
Some website.
Yeah, and I can provide a lot of information. Yeah, and based on, so I'll tell you a little bit about what I do. So I meet typically with companies. I work primarily with companies who are interested in doing some sort of manufacturing or processing. And based on what their interest is, I would recommend certain programs and, to apply for different tax credits based on what that specific company is interested in doing.
他现在就先介绍了一下他主要的职责所在。他平时的工作就是去见一些各大就是公司的代表，然后这些公司就是有意向在萨省投资这种生产加工的公司。然后如果这个公司一旦告诉他们的兴趣所在的话，他就可以帮这个公司找出一些他们可能会得到的这种税收的福利，然后帮助这些公司得到最大化他们的福利。
And, back to your earlier question about the difference between cleaning and bagging and manufacturing. Well, your manufacturing corporate tax rate can be as low as 10% when you're doing some sort of transformation of the product. And that's one of the lowest corporate tax rates in the country.
然后就像刚刚这位先生提到的，这个浅加工和深加工这种福利上有什么区别？对于这种深加工的企业的话，这个制造业企业所得税可以就是得到全国最低的10%的优惠。
And we have a very low small business tax rate, and small business is less than 500 employees, and usually sales of less than 500,000.
然后他说，对于这种小型企业也有这种税收上的优惠，只收2%的企业所得税。然后这种小型企业的定义是500个员工以下。
And I mentioned these earlier. These are the tax credits. I have a it went away. I have a fact sheet on these tax credits. So these are new tax credits offered by the government of Saskatchewan, administered by the Ministry of Economy. So there's a 10,000 per employee tax credit per year for up to 5 years for people performing head office functions. And there has to be minimum 5 people and $1 million payroll. And so head office functions would be strategic planning, marketing, accounting. There's 9 different administrative type roles that would be applicable for the $10,000 tax credit.
像是他现在提到了有一个每个员工有1万元的这种税收抵免的政策，就是对于但它也有很多要求，比如说这个企业必须要有5个员工以上，然后这个企业的这个年营业额必须要在
Yeah, payroll.
这个工资总数必须要在100万左右，然后才可以得到这个1万元每个人的这个税收抵免。
And this is per person per job for 5 years based on 2014 employment levels. So for example, in the second program where it's 3,000 per job, for example, if there's an existing company that is splitting peas and they hire 10 more people in 2015, they hire 10 more people, and those 10 people are working full-time for the next 5 years, they'll get $3,000, and they're just regular employees, not head office type. They'll get $3,000 per employee per year tax credit.
像刚刚说的这个每个工作1万元的这个，还有一个补充就是这个办公室必须得是行使这种就是主要规划的职责，比如说要做市场规划，要做整个公司的这个发展规划，像这种办公室的这个员工才可以享受这个1万元的税收抵免。另外一个就是这个3000元每个职位的这个税收抵免是给那个比如说一个豌豆的这个就是分离公司的话，他如果雇了10个雇员，然后这个每个雇员每年都可以享受3000块的税收抵免。
Yes.
They don't have some specific tax credit for CEO.
For CEO?
Yeah.
Yeah, the CEO would fall into the head office type job.
Oh, the same thing with the
Yeah.
employee.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. So,
Yeah,
different.
so
The
that would be the 10,000.
美国的休斯顿 CEO 以上的不交税啊，那个最大的，所以大家都搬到休斯顿这个。
And there are also other tax credits for manufacturing processing. There's a 5% tax credit, and it also applies to machinery. And then 10% provincial, which is non-refundable and can be combined with the federal 15% tax credit.
然后另外就是对于其他行业的这种生产加工的话，它会有5%的税收减免。然后对于像是这种然后结合其他的一些10%的税收减免，差不多可以得到15%的税收减免。
Yeah. So I'm going to go a bit quicker through these slides so there's some time for questions. But I don't know how long each of you has been in Saskatoon, but you know, Saskatoon has a very strong agriculture and innovation cluster at the University of Saskatchewan, an innovation place.
他说他不了解大家现在在萨省待了多久了，但是他想介绍给大家的是，萨省有着非常就是发展先进的这种，就是在萨省大学里面有一个叫做 Innovation Place 的地方，是专门搞这种科研科技的。
Yeah. So there's the synchrotron, which is the only. Whoops, I skipped that one. Which is the only synchrotron in Canada.
OK，
The Canadian light source. Yeah.
他讲到这个同步加速器是这个the only one in Canada.
Yeah.
OK， 然后他说这个萨省大学 Innovation Place 有的这个同步加速器是加拿大唯一的一个。
And I'm also going back a slide. The University of Saskatchewan also has the largest and most extensive crop breeding effort in North America.
然后这个萨省大学的话，它也是有着最大的以及最广泛的植物育种的这个 在北美最大的以及最广泛的植物育种基地。
And this is often important for companies who want to have a special trait or a special quality in the product that they are going to be processing. For example, pea processing companies, they want a high protein pea. So they can work with the University of Saskatchewan to develop and breed peas that would have high protein, which they can contract for farmers to grow and then they could process.
然后这个萨省大学有一项先进的地方是，它可以就是跟有特殊需求的这些就是购买商合作。比如说你想买豌豆，你想要这种就是蛋白质含量非常高的豌豆，你就可以跟这个萨省大学合作，然后这个萨省大学会帮你找到种这个蛋白质含量非常高的豌豆的这些农民，然后大家签一个合同，然后就可以实行这种合作。
有个问题
Yes.，
当与这个大学农业系谈这个合作的时候，大学农业系是要收钱的，这个钱是由企业来付呢，还是你那个部门就帮着付了？
It's between the company and the university.
是这个钱是跟政府无关，是在这个公司和这个大学之间。
Okay, but that being said, there is research funding available through the Ministry of Agriculture. They have a research funding program called ADF. And also, depending on the crop, for example, peas, the Saskatchewan pulse growers also have money for funding research projects.
虽然像刚刚说的那个，但是他也强调了有一些就是基金可以提供，比如说 ADP right ADF， 像是有一个叫做 ADF 的机构，它就可以为大家提供一些，你如果想做研发新产品的话，也是可以提供基金，反正是有各种各样的基金可以提供帮助。
And as you may know, that Saskatchewan is a leader in agriculture biotechnology, and scientists here help develop canola and cold-resistant wheat. So they did some breeding of crops for Saskatchewan climate.
然后这个研发机构的话，像萨省也是在这个农业生物科技处于领先地位。然后像是这个菜籽油，然后也是像这个 Innovation Place 也是帮大家就做了很多的研究，然后与发明。
Yeah. And two other facilities that you should be aware of if you're interested in processing or you have clients that are interested in processing are POS and the food center. So POS, it used to represent protein, oil, and starch, but now it stands for people, science, and opportunities. They help companies, big and small, with process development, and you can do it on a very small scale, or you can do it on a larger commercial scale at their facility.
所以现在他想介绍两个机构，就是大家如果对这个食品加工行业感兴趣的话，或者你的客户对这个行业感兴趣的话，必须要知道的两个地方。第一个就是这个 POS 公司，它也是在那个 Innovation Place 里面，然后它可以帮助不论是小型的还是大，在他们那个场地可以帮助不论是小型的还是大型的这种生产加工机构可以做研究。
And it's a fee-for-service organization. So you pay the organization and they help solve your problems.
然后他说这当然是会收一定的费用，就是你告诉他你想要解决的困难，然后他会收取一定的费用，然后帮你解决这个困难。
And the second organization is called the Food Industry Development Center. We just call it the Food Center. And the Food Center helps companies, also big and small, develop new food products. A lot of the smaller companies in Saskatchewan use the food center to do processing for them. If they're not large enough to have their own processing facility, there's an incubator in the food center, and you can, especially when the new one opens in 2017, you can locate there for a certain period of time and use the food center's equipment to produce your products until you get large enough to build your own facility.
然后另一个他想介绍的就是这个 food center， 然后翻译过来就叫做食品中心。然后这个食品中心的话，也是帮助这种大型企业以及小型企业，尤其是对很多小型企业来说，可能规模太小，他们没有 没办法买这种自己的食品加工这种设备，然后他就可以租用这个食品中心的这种设备，直到你就是把自己壮大之后购买了自己的设备，然后再发展。
Yeah. So the food center currently is located on the university campus, but they're building the new one in South Saskatoon, and it's going to be a large facility which will have a number of different areas for companies to locate on a temporary basis.
然后他说，现在这个食品中心的话是在大学校园里面，然后正在建一个在2017年将竣工的，是在这个萨斯卡通城市南部有一个大的，然后他就会把这个农产品分类，然后每一个对这种不同类别的农产品都可以在那里找到自己的位置。
So just to sum up, why you would come to Saskatchewan to process. We have very competitive business environment. We have a diverse array of products that could be processed, world-class R&D, and of course, great people.
然后他就最后强调一下，为什么大家来萨省投资，这个优势在哪里？第一个就是萨省有着非常和谐的以及非常有竞争力的这个投资环境，然后另外就是有很多就是广泛的这种产品，比如说各种各样的农产品，然后另外就是世界级的这种研究研发中心，以及人都很友好。
And that's the end. And I'm open for any questions. They can be as specific as you like.
问一个问题，就机会是很多啊，但是因为能不能举几个比较具体的例子？因为像这个油菜籽榨油厂，它的投资金额是大概是有应该是3亿3加币左右，现在。就是说，我相信在座也没有那么多人有那么多的钱。如果有那么多钱，说实话，我早就退休了啊。但是3亿3加币有没有一些几百万到1-2千万加币的这种投资项目？
So I don't know the
在
dollar.
White City 重庆粮油购买了一个，
那不会在打官司？
在关那只花了400多万加币。
那个现在在打官司，
是我
现
知道有
在
问题，我知道有问题，但是我的意思是说，它不至于一下跑得上亿才能。
哎，你好。
这个亏死了，重庆粮油现在都是
How much?
Crashing, I don't think
It's
that much.
okay. The facilities in Yorkton area, those large facilities would probably cost around 200 million to build a large facility.
哎，
像这个亚麻籽油，他知道的这个亚麻籽油，这个
Not yamaz,
No, canola.
canola.
菜籽，像这种菜籽的生产的话，他知道的是2亿左右投资。
How big is the
2亿
production?
其实也没有太大差别，就看你的。
I mean, the problem with canola, canola is great, but it has to be produced on a large scale because there's large companies that manufacture it.
他说，对于这个菜籽这个行业来说的话，因为有很多已经存在的大型的公司作为竞争者，所以你如果想要投资在这个上面的话，肯定是要竞争不会。对，就是有一个，如果想提高竞争力的话，肯定是要开大型的。
That being said, I would say there's opportunities on a smaller scale in, we call them niche products. For example, if you were going for, non-GMO cold pressed canola, that might be a smaller scale facility. Otherwise, you'll be competing with the large companies. But if you compete in a smaller market, there are opportunities.
就是我想问一下，这里有没有现成的成功的这些华人的企业家在这里投资农场加工的？能不能给我们让我们去参观一下，看一看？
对，言简于实。第一个由 Sasuke 来做，你看。
哎，我希望来投资农业，但是我认为就是说，如果我买了这些地，我都不知道怎么去来经营，怎么来管理，所以有时间我也是比较担忧的。
有没有什么 training program？
对。
for agriculture.
Training program for primary agriculture or for processing?
Primary agriculture and processing, both, I guess. It's most Chinese are interested about agriculture and then
Yeah, maybe need an apprentice to follow the farm.
Apprentice?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know about primary agriculture training.
Yeah. I hope that many Chinese is smart, but language is not good. Training is better.
I will ask. I'll find out if there's training for.
Yeah.
Holding some short-term training program. I know that agriculture is quite complex.
Yes.
The weather, depending on fertilizer.
Yeah.
Depending on
And also, the farms here are so large compared to most places in the world.
city people.
Yeah, I will have to ask and find out if there's training programs.
Okay.
And I think he's talking about whether we can organize a tour, like I mentioned to you.
A tour, yes.
Because most of us, we don't have those kind of experience, and we want to look at it first and to see, what is the best opportunity for the people who's here. So later on, would you please kindly help us to arrange that tour, and we will organize a group.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I can, for sure.
Thanks.
Yeah, and we can tour farms, as well as manufacturing facilities, depending on what you're interested in.
刚才我就主要是中午我跟他吃饭的时候谈了一些，因为有一些会员，包括我们华人里面谈到了这个，大家希望有一次组织一个，不管叫农业方面的考察。那么我刚才也说了，他刚才说我想问他，他谈到的就是说我们可以分不同的类别，我们有对农场进行考察，我们有对这个肉类的分工的，还有就是说农作物的，然后呢还有就是农产品加工的。到时候呢，大家可以根据自己的兴趣呢。提供一下，然后我们组织不同的这个就是农场的这个参观，好吧？这个最近我们就想搞，可能大概是准备安排在6月份。
Yeah. And I can, I also can help find opportunities if you're interested in investing in certain areas. You're looking for partners. Maybe you don't necessarily want to work there, but you might want to invest in something. Or if you're looking for specific partners in food processing areas, I can also do introductions as well.
Can we basically do a survey about here? Here this group, like how many people are interested in like meat processing? 我们就可以想，比方说大家对现在我们可以分类，尤其想参观只是农场的、农产品加工的、肉类加工的，就是说看看分一下兴趣，这样子呢，它比较好安排，就是路线啊，还要跟工厂具体要联系。
我认为每一个都希望既对农场感兴趣，也对加工感兴趣的，所以我们都去可以看一看更好，是吧？我认为我也对农场也感兴趣，对加工也感兴趣，我都想去看一看。
Yeah.
Farmer, those kind of things, but they said they want to look at everything.
Yeah.
But I probably see why not everybody like vote like 都行，你是觉得？
因为我们看了才能比较嘛，哪一个更好更合适。
最好是能够稍微有点机会，因为像这个肉类的，看完好是非常好，但是那个中国简易基本上看完想了半天做不了。
And I think if this is the case, we can do we can do a general trip first.
Yeah.
We give people a group like a general sense about it.
Yeah, we can visit a few different things, maybe a flax processing, for example. We can do if you want to do an alcohol processing facility, a small brewery, or if a winery. There's also, in Saskatoon, there's distilleries that do whiskey, if you're interested in seeing whiskey. There's lots of things we could do.
Okay, we will rely on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
我说一点吧，你讲的挺好，他讲的也挺好，我都同意你们的观点。以后你在讲的时候，多讲那个小企业的例子，不要讲那个太大的，1个亿、2个亿的，我没有那钱。
I don't know that though.
你最好举那个30万、50万，不超过100万的。
Yeah.
还有咱们去参观的。
Maybe you have big friends in China. I don't know.
还有咱们去参观的时候，参观的这个企业呢，也是要规模小的，30万、50万。
Yeah.
不要超过100万的
Yeah, okay.
因为现在萨省有大量的投资移民
Yeah.
他们需要那种小项目，你那个大项目那都是天上的月亮，他们够。
I understand. Yes.
我还有另外一个问题，就是这个 GTB 现在有什么进展没有？就是 China 那个 Global Logistic Hub
Oh, GTH?
GTH
Yes.
Any progress?
Any progress on the GTH? I know there's a number of companies looking at investing at the GTH and doing some, we call it light processing, so it's not heavy pollution processing. But I'm not sure if those deals have been signed or yet.
The idea GTH sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing a lot of progress being made.
Yeah, it's a long-term investment. You know, really, in any investment, it can take quite a few years.
Yeah, I heard about GDH. I'm just wondering if the transportation part is already kind of ready.
Oh, yeah,
Or you
it's
were
there.
talking about the
CP is there. So Canadian Pacific Rail's there. They do the containers, and they have the capability to expand significantly. So it's already in use and it's already functioning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I haven't caught up the like private what is that, freighters? I think there are many private freighters, right? Is that the
You mean
correct
like
word?
transportation
Shipping.
companies?
Yeah.
Yes.
International.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering the cost if we ship with GDH compared to those private.
I think. Well,
Competitive.
I think. Well, it depends. It depends what product you're shipping.
Okay.
And, you know, you would have to compare the prices of whether, if you're shipping overseas, you either truck it to GTH and put it in a container, for example, or you truck in a container from Saskatoon, or there's many options, or you can transload in Vancouver. So it depends what product you're shipping and how it needs to be shipped. For example, pulses, peas, you know, a lot of the pulses have to be shipped in containers. Typically, you don't do bulk. So regardless of where you ship, you either put it in a container here or you put it in a container in Vancouver. Yeah.
I think my question is mostly because from your PPT,
Yeah.
I could see, like you mentioned, the tax incentives,
Yes.
and also how Saskatoon is the number 2
Yeah.
across North America.
Yeah.
So my question is, so GTH, my feeling is it's a non-profit government kind of project.
Yeah, it's like a crown
So
corporation.
that
Yeah.
is why I
But they have to
this-
recover their costs.
Yes.
So, and
but-
it's fully serviced land.
Yeah.
So transportation, I mean, is provided by CP Rail. So they compete with CN and also
What is CN?
Canadian National.
谢谢大家。
Yeah,
That is railway.
yeah, that is rail.
Oh, okay.
So they would have to be competitive.
So it's not like obvious as other numbers you can
No.
give. I'd better, like, depending on the specific products I'm thinking of,
Yeah.
I'd better compare myself
Yeah.
to be safe.
You should compare.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I got a question.
Yes.
Can you give me some example of food, like what kind of food